Welcome to the Biotech Executive Brief, your daily recap of the developments shaping artificial intelligence, pharma and life sciences, and the broader business landscape. Today's brief covers Thursday, August 13th, 2026. Let's start with AI, where new models, enterprise adoption, and another wave of major investment are driving the conversation. Google introduced Gemini 3.7 Flash, its latest Flash series model designed for coding and agentic workflows. The model is aimed at developers who need to balance intelligence with speed and cost, reflecting the growing demand for models built specifically for production environments rather than simply maximizing raw capability. OpenAI is pushing on another important dimension: speed. The company previewed UltraFast, a new API service tier capable of running GPT 5.6 Sol as much as 14 times faster than standard processing, with generation reaching up to 750 output tokens per second. That could make the model more practical for applications where response time is critical. And as AI agents become more capable, Anthropic is studying what happens when those agents interact with each other. Its latest research examined autonomous agents operating and competing in shared environments, where researchers observed coordination failures and other unexpected behaviors. As businesses begin deploying more multi-agent systems, understanding those interactions is becoming another part of the AI reliability and governance discussion. Enterprise adoption is moving forward as well. IBM expanded its partnership with OpenAI and plans to integrate GPT 5.6, Codex, and ChatGPT work into IBM Consulting Advantage. IBM will also train specialists on OpenAI tools, giving the partnership a direct path into enterprise implementations. Microsoft, meanwhile, is simplifying parts of its AI portfolio. The company is combining previously separate consumer and business Copilot applications while discontinuing several features that failed to gain sufficient traction. After several years of rapid experimentation, Microsoft appears to be consolidating around the AI experiences customers are actually using. Then there is the money. Databricks raised $5 billion at a reported $190 billion valuation. CEO Ali Ghodsi said the company has reached roughly $7 billion in annualized revenue run rate and continues investing heavily in AI. That is another substantial vote of confidence in the data and infrastructure layer supporting enterprise AI. But investors are not rewarding every AI company automatically. Cerebras shares declined as the market weighed strong AI growth against mixed quarterly results. It is another reminder that the AI label alone is no longer enough. Investors are increasingly looking for financial execution alongside demand. OpenAI also made a notable commercial leadership change, hiring Wiz President and COO Dali Rajic as its new Chief Revenue Officer. The move comes as OpenAI continues building out its enterprise and commercial businesses, and there are signs that all of this AI investment is beginning to show up beyond the technology sector itself. Growing AI adoption is starting to appear in measures of productivity and economic activity in the United Kingdom as companies move from experimentation toward operational deployment. Finally, Apple is reportedly exploring licensing arrangements with publishers that could provide its next generation Siri with access to current news and information. As AI assistants become more useful for real-time questions, access to reliable and timely information is becoming another important piece of the competitive landscape. So the AI story today is increasingly about execution: faster models, enterprise deployment, agent reliability, commercial expansion, and the infrastructure needed to support it all. Now let's move to pharma and life sciences. Bristol Myers Squibb received an important regulatory win. The FDA granted accelerated approval to Zenbexus, or iberdomide, in combination with Darzalex and dexamethasone for relapsed or refractory multiple myeloma. The CLMOD therapy will still require confirmatory evidence to maintain full approval, but the decision adds another treatment option for previously treated patients. Novartis also scored a meaningful win, this time in intellectual property. The company successfully defended its UK patent protection for Entresto against a challenge from Accord Healthcare. The ruling preserves protection in Britain until 2028, an important outcome as Novartis navigates a broader period of patent expirations. Bristol Myers had less welcome news on another front. A U.S. appeals court revived a $6.7 billion lawsuit connected to the company's acquisition of Celgene. Former Celgene shareholders allege Bristol Myers did not use sufficient efforts to obtain timely drug approvals, preventing payouts tied to contingent value rights. That brings a major piece of acquisition-related litigation back into play. Rare disease also generated significant deal activity. PTC Therapeutics won an auction for Sangamo's Fabry disease gene therapy, agreeing to pay $111 million upfront and as much as another $100 million in milestones. The winning bid substantially exceeded an earlier offer from Astellas, highlighting the value buyers are still placing on differentiated gene therapy assets. Another biotech, Cardis Therapeutics, emerged with $95 million in Series B financing. The company plans to advance an oral treatment for thyroid eye disease into clinical development. Oncology brought a mix of positive data and strategic reprioritization. Taiho Pharmaceutical and Cullinan Therapeutics reported a second phase 3 success for their EGFR inhibitor in non-small cell lung cancer. The program could eventually introduce additional competition into the EGFR exon 20 market. PDS Biotechnology went in the opposite direction, discontinuing its Phase 3 head and neck cancer program and redirecting resources toward a Phase 2 metastatic colorectal cancer candidate. It is a significant pipeline reset and another example of biotechs concentrating capital around the programs they believe offer the strongest path forward. Zealand Pharma also chose to monetize an asset ahead of a major regulatory catalyst. The company agreed to sell its economic rights in rusfertide for $100 million, while the blood cancer drug approaches an FDA decision. The structure provides Zealand with near-term cash while transferring future commercial exposure. And financial pressure continues to weigh on parts of the biotech market. Karyopharm reported a $67 million second quarter loss and finished the period with $65 million in cash as it approaches a potential default deadline. Liquidity and debt obligations are now becoming immediate strategic issues for the company. Across life sciences today, the picture is mixed but active. Regulatory approvals, patent protection, gene therapy deals, clinical successes, pipeline reprioritization, and continuing financial pressure on companies without sufficient capital flexibility. Now let's finish with the broader business landscape. Markets delivered a milestone as the S&P 500 closed at a record high. Softer U.S. producer price data reduced expectations for a Federal Reserve rate increase in September, and technology stocks helped lead the advance. Corporate earnings were also encouraging in Europe, where companies are heading toward one of their strongest earnings seasons in several years. Results have remained resilient, despite energy, geopolitical, and macroeconomic pressures. Consumer businesses presented a more uneven picture. Tapestry projected muted annual sales growth as weakness at Kate Spade continued to offset stronger momentum at Coach. The results show how differently individual brands can perform even within the same corporate portfolio. Autonomous driving company WeRide is looking outward after a stronger quarter. The Chinese company is evaluating expansion into Australia and Southeast Asia as it continues building its international robotaxi and autonomous driving footprint. North American automakers, meanwhile, are focused on trade policy. Detroit manufacturers are warning that proposed changes to regional trade rules could add billions of dollars in costs and weaken their competitiveness against overseas manufacturers. Their concern reflects just how interconnected automotive supply chains have become across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. There was also a significant portfolio shift from Bill Ackman's Pershing Square. The firm disclosed 6 new investments in its largest portfolio overhaul in years, including positions in Netflix, Visa, and MasterCard. Executive compensation is another area drawing attention. Pay among S&P 500 CEOs has reached record levels as more companies adopt large, performance-oriented compensation packages. That trend is bringing renewed focus from investors on governance and the alignment between executive rewards and shareholder outcomes. And finally, oil prices fell more than 2% as weaker demand forecasts and a substantial increase in U.S. crude inventories outweighed continuing geopolitical concerns. The move illustrates the push and pull in energy markets right now. Significant supply risks remain, but investors are also watching signs that demand may be softening. That wraps up the Biotech Executive Brief for Thursday, August 13th, 2026. Across AI, the focus is shifting from experimentation toward faster models, enterprise deployment, agent reliability, and financial execution. In life sciences, regulatory wins and active deal-making are unfolding alongside pipeline resets and financing pressure. And across the broader business landscape, markets are balancing resilient earnings and record equity levels against changing trade, consumer, and energy conditions. Thanks for listening to the Biotech Executive Brief from Sternbridge Technology Consulting, bringing you the developments across AI, life sciences, and business that matter most.